There are 5 invisible emotional buttons inside every human being. When you press them the wrong way, you create conflict. But when you press them the right way, you create trust, influence, and connection. The SCAR model was introduced around 2008-2009 by Dr. David Rock in his book Your Brain at Work. In this book, he explains the 5 emotional buttons that are common to all human beings. All life on earth has a limbic system and an emotional center, and these 5 emotional needs. The first thing we need to understand is that through communication, these buttons can be activated either positively or negatively. When we activate them positively, we create trust, stronger relationships, harmony, emotional safety, internal balance. But when we activate them negatively, is this emotional hijack appears, cortisol and stress increase. The limbic and reptilian brain take over, and the fight, flight, or freeze responses appear. And in communication, we do not want these reactions because when this happens, the elephant, emotional brain, takes control and prepares to defend itself. At this moment, we can no longer truly reach out the other person emotionally. Remember, communication is not only about exchanging information, it's about helping the other person feel safe enough to understand your perspective while creating a dynamic where both people feel respected and satisfied. The 5 emotional buttons stands for status, certainty, autonomy, relatedness, and fairness. We're going to start with the first one, status. Status is one of the most sensitive emotional button for many people. It reflects our need to feel important, respected, validated, appreciated, and socially relevant. We naturally enjoy praise and recognition because status is deeply connected to emotional safety. How to activate status positivity in others? Recognize what people do well. Offer appreciation honestly. Ask for their opinion or advice. Show curiosity about their decision. And have a difficult conversation privately, especially in a work environment. And try to avoid public criticism, public embarrassment, humiliation, highlight failures in front of others, or invading someone else's perspective. Appreciate publicly, correct privately. Try to understand before judging. Even in a relationship, when you say, "You never listen to me," this attacked status because the person feels criticized and emotionally rejected. Better way to say it, "I don't feel fully heard right now. Can we slow down for a second?" Even at the workplace, instead of saying, "Why would you send the email like this?" you can switch and say, "I understand this intention behind it, but let's refine it together." This preserves dignity while still offering correction. An important insight is each person has a different sensitivities. Some people have high sensitive status triggers, even meaning even small situations such as feeling excluded or ignored may affect them deeply. As communicator, our role is to recognize this and respond consciously. The second button is certainty. Certainty is the human need for clarify, structure, predictability, organization. It is the need to understand what is happening and what might happen next. If someone says you never do what you are supposed to, a person with a strong need for certainty might immediately ask, what exactly? In what situation? What specifically do you mean? Communicate clearly and be specific. Avoid ambiguity and ask clarifying questions. Summarize conversation. Define next steps clearly. Like, let's recapitulate what we agreed at 1, 2, and 3. And try to avoid vagueness, chaos, constantly changing plans without communication, unclear expectation, or jumping between topics. To create certainty, you need to be transparent, you need to be organized, you need to communicate directly and respect agreed decision. Another way that sometimes you impact negatively is we need to talk later. For someone with high certainty, anxiety immediately increase and the nervous system begin imagining worst case scenario. I am one of that person. When instead you can say you need to talk later about our weekend plans. You see, nothing bad, it's just everything is smoother now. This immediately reduce emotional threat. Um, for workplace, even unclear expectation, changing priorities daily, or lack of communication usually results in overthinking, stress, disengagement. Better is here today's priority, what success looks like, and what might change. The third one, autonomy. Autonomy is the need. Autonomy is the need to feel free, independent, capable of making decisions, in control of our choices. Here is how to support your own autonomy. Focus on what you can control. Think in options and alternatives. Avoid overcommitting. Accept that you cannot control everything. How to activate autonomy, positivity in others. Offer choices instead of commands. Ask instead of controlling. And respect personal decision making. Instead of, where are you? You can say, where are you? Because I would like to know when you'll be home so I can prepare dinner. So it's not that controlling. Even for children, they need to feel this autonomy. You can offer options. Do you want pasta or omelette? Even when choices are limited, is still that autonomy is preserved. Another advanced communication tool is asking permission. This is an extremely powerful. You can say, can I ask you something? Can I share something? This creates psychologically safety instantly. And try to avoid controlling behavior, forcing decision, ignoring option, limited freedom, especially in relationship. Autonomy is deeply, deeply connected to emotional safety. Even if you want to say something like, you should stop talking to these people, you can switch and say, can I share why this situation worries me? This preserves autonomy while still expressing your concern. Also, in a work environment, micromanagement often creates emotional shutdown, low creativity, disengagement. A powerful leader will say, here is the goal. I trust your approach. 4. Relatedness. Relatedness is the need for connection, belonging, familiarity, emotional safety. People naturally feel safer around those who feel familiar or emotionally similar. Here is how to create relatedness. Share experiences, show vulnerability, highlight similarity, create emotional connection. Like, oh, I've been through that too. Why this works? Because it activates the brain reward system, connecting and bonding, and reduce the perceived threat. When people feel you are like me, trust increases. But when people feel you are so different from me, emotional distance appears. The nervous system relaxes faster around people who feel emotionally safe, familiar, and non judgmental. Try to avoid superiority, emotional coldness, excessive competition, and or focusing only on results instead of relationship. Try to encourage connection, create shared experience, acknowledge emotion, and build trust intentionally. Even a small question like, how was your weekend? Can unconsciously communicate, you are safe with me. Relatedness is not superficial, it's biological safety. And we arrive at number 5, fairness. Fairness is the human need for justice, balance, transparency, equal treatment. People naturally expect if I give you something there, it should be a fair exchange. Even in relationship. Why fairness is so sensitive? When people perceive unfairness, stress immediately increases. Cortisol rises, resentment builds quickly. And to support your own fairness system, express your needs clearly, ask help when you need it, respect your limits, and avoid constantly keeping score. And the way to activate fairness in others is showing empathy, align expectation, be transparent, acknowledge contribution. Try to avoid humiliation, comparison, favorism, ignoring expectation or inconsistent treatment. A negative way in a relationship is, oh, after everything I did for you. This creates guilt and emotional imbalance. Better is, I will appreciate more support in this area. This is everywhere, including at work. If one employee is corrected publicly while others are not, well, fairness treat appears immediately. And this creates resentment, distrust, and disengagement. The final principle is that these emotional buttons are universal. They apply to every culture, every age, every environment, every relationship. Communication influences emotional safety. Through communication, we can make someone feel safe or threatened, valued or dismissed, connected or isolated. Just the way we speak. And my final thought is that most communication problems are not logic problems, they are nervous system safety problems. Before people truly hear your words, their nervous system decide whatever they feel safe with you. Communication is not only about information or exchanging data. It's more than that. Thank you for watching.